All right, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 2 of the 2026 model number 3-4 course. We will have about 10 plus videos in this ongoing series. So by the end of it, you are going to have a really good base and foundation of this entire system and model. So that way it's going to be a lot easier for you to implement this in live price action with me when we're trading this live, and also get you really to see what you should truly be looking for in these markets. So what you're looking at right here is literally your base and foundation. This is the model number 3 checklist that we're going to be going off of for every single trade. And again, you need to understand the first video that I put out, because that's more important than learning the actual system here. Once you learn the system, right, anybody can learn the system, but what's actually going to take you to the finish line and allow you to implement this correctly is everything I taught in the first video. Getting comfortable with the boring, not being addicted to dopamine and instant gratification, learning to wait and be patient and allow the model to actually form, not overcomplicating, not over trading, not being greedy, and actually truly gaining enough live experience and reps with this model so you can learn how to truly implement this consistently in live price action. So now that I got that out of the way, let's jump right into a chart example. Literally from today, we took this live on stream. Nothing better than a fresh model where I can get down here and teach you exactly what I did here today. All right, so first and foremost, you see the model number 3 target plotted on here, but how did we arrive here? How are we able to know to take this long here, sell up here, nearly almost kind of at the top, right? How did we know how to do this and truly trust it and not feel like we're gambling like a lot of people do in these markets? Well, it actually all starts with the key level that we tap down into. So let's focus on that. Let's go out to the higher time frame here, and we're popping on good old replay here. Okay, there's one of two key levels that I'm actually looking to be tapped down into to basically activate the model number 3. All right, this entire model surrounds what we do when we attack key levels, right, and looking to go against the previous grain, which in this example was a huge rush to the downside. So the key level that we're utilizing is actually a combination of two things. All right, it can either be an old low like you see here, or some type of imbalance. All right, and both is actually optimal. So in this case here, you see that we created a gap in price on the hourly chart. You can see how we tapped back down into that around the midpoint. All the while, we're sweeping out the London session low, all right, which is just the low that was formed between 1 to 5 a.m. And then we have the Asian session low, which again is just formed from 7 to 11 p.m. So we have old key time-based lows being rated, along with an inefficiency being delivered. So before you overcomplicate this, it's a very simple thing. We're looking for old lows in a bullish Model 3 example, plus an inefficiency. One or the other. If it taps down into that, that's going to be step number 1 to finding this Model 3. Now, the next thing that we're looking for once we tap our key levels, like right here, is we're looking for obvious, and I mean obvious, opposing draw on liquidities. And what this means is just very simple, obvious opposing stacked highs from those who are making money before we're taking our Model 3 to the upside. Who's been making money? Obviously short sellers up until 10:44 a.m. And what did we leave behind? I don't know about you, but this is very obvious because it's a double top. And not only that, but we have a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So continuous lower highs being revved up as we're driving down. So this to me is definitely classified as obvious opposing liquidity in the form of old highs. So the question is, okay, how do we know how to time this Model 3? How do we know when it's time to go against the grain? It's a very simple thing. You let it drive down until it tags that key time-based low. So now that we tap these key levels in the form of those London lows, right, and we've identified obvious opposing stacked highs, this is when you want to start looking for that time-based expansion in the direction of the Model 3 target. All right. Now, as for this specific high, why this high right here? Very simple. It's the lowest hanging fruit, old high, in this price leg that was created down. Okay. I can pick a high like this, right? Or these highs here, but it's just way too shallow. That's the point of it, right? So what I want to do is I want to go for the most reasonable low hanging fruit prey right? Where a lot of sellers are going to have their sell stops trailed above, which is reasonably going to be this swing high here, which just so happened to be the first swing high created after 10 a.m. So what does a light bulb expansion look like? Well, it's actually right here where we took the trade, right? Now, there's multiple reasons why this is light bulb. Number one, we had a change in the state of delivery on the higher time frames, which I'll get into that in later videos. And while that was happening, we created multiple fair value gaps in the direction of the Model 3 target. All right. What is a fair value gap? Well, it's just whenever price gets so energetic to the upside, it leaves behind a gap in price like you see here and here. And as a bonus, even right here. And as you can see, as a result, we have a huge aggressive run to the upside that's really obvious. It sticks out to you, creating gaps in price. This lets me know this is a true light bulb expansion, not only because of these gaps, but also because we were delivering out of a time-based old low, and we were in utilization of this 11 a.m. hourly candle opening. Of this 11 a.m. hourly candle opening, all right, this is going to be 10 minutes before the hour and 10 minutes after. Okay, this is kind of like a hot pocket where you look for time-based expansion. So if it's 10 minutes within an hourly candle, ideally right in it, or 10 minutes after, and you have that multiple gap expansion off a higher time frame key level, that's how you know you have a high quality time-based displacement in the market. And now it is time to enter. And here is the least complicated part ever. Once you get the retrace into the first gap, that is where you're going to get your long position. You're not worrying about if it's going to retrace deeper. You just weather your stop loss to cover that. Take profit goes to the Model 3 target. At least 80% needs to come off of there. Again, we're going against short sellers, and they're basically our prey that we're hunting. All right. So again, that first retracement after the light bulb time-based expansion that I just went over, that is when you want to enter the market. You want to let the trade breathe with your stop loss, and you ride it out to that Model 3 target, taking at least 80% off of the trade. Now, something that might pop out to you here is, oh, look at this large wick, man. That would have been tough to sit through. Yep, we sat through that live time with no emotion whatsoever. Sometimes there's going to be manipulation in the market that scares you out. The fact that you see this right here, it tells you two things. Number one, you have to let your trades breathe and you can't suffocate it with a tight stop loss. And number two, all this is trying to scare you out of the trade. Okay, unless your stop loss literally gets filled, you're not manually closing the trade. You're letting it ride to the Model 3 target. Everything is systematic here. Systematic. All the way down to the target, the stop loss placement, the entry, the timing of it, everything is systematic and jives all together into a smooth model number 3. So let's recap for a moment. This is a 3-step process. When you break down Model 3 to its core, you want to really be focused on 3 things primarily, obviously with the rest of the checklist. But for now, this is what I want you guys to focus on in this episode. These 3 components. This is what you need to focus on first, before anything else. Key level engaged. Identifying obvious opposing liquidity in the form of trendline stacked highs like here, or equal stacked highs like you see here. One of the two, this will be valid. So if you have these 2 components here, an actual key level, right? A time-based old high quality low with obvious liquidity opposing, that's when you look for step 3, which is that time-based light bulb expansion that I just explained right now. So these 3 pieces to the puzzle of model number 3, I really want you to focus on this first, especially while we're live in our sessions, implementing this model real time, okay? Because the more you look for these 3 components, the easier it gets, and the more you stop overcomplicating trading, okay? So we're going to take these 3 things here and basically build up off of that in the next episodes. We're going to cover stop placement. We're going to cover how to find the actual Model 3 target and all that other good stuff. But again, focus on the basics first, okay? Once you master this, you can then learn everything else, and you're just going to be able to smoothly, easily implement this system, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in episode number 3 next week.